Lisa, so what has been revealed in this report?
So the report looked into how the Met investigates deaths since the serial killer Stephen Port murdered 4 men between 2014 and 2015. Those men who Port murdered were Anthony Walgate, Gabrielle Cavari, Daniel Whitworth and Jack Taylor by drugging them with overdoses of GHB, then dumping their bodies near his flat in East London. But it wasn't until the last death that was seen as suspicious. The report was commissioned by the Mayor of London after an inquest into their deaths found that fundamental failures by police were likely to have contributed to the deaths of 3 of the men. Inspector of Constabulary Matt Parr said the police conducted a professional and thorough investigation after the first victim, Anthony, was murdered, it's entirely possible, likely even, that Gabrielle, Daniel and Jack would have still been alive. He added that the Met has not learned enough from their failings 8 years ago, and starkly, what went wrong there could happen again. The report found the risk of murders not being identified by Met Police is way higher than it should be, with some officers saying they are relying on luck to identify links between deaths. The inspection reviewed investigations into 100 deaths and found evidence of poor training, supervision, handling of property and evidence, dreadful record keeping, a deluge of confusing guidance and policies for officers, as well as inadequate intelligence and crime analysis. There are also examples of vital evidence being found in mortuaries after officers had failed to check the pockets of people found dead. Mr. Parr said the force's resources are stretched and there is a young, inexperienced workforce, but that doesn't absolve the Met of its responsibility to meet, frankly, basic standards of investigation. The report made 20 recommendations, including calling on Met officers to use more intelligence information when investigating deaths. Solicitor Neil Hudgell, who represented Port's victims' families at the inquest, renewed calls for a public inquiry into the case. As he said, the report reveals the same shortcomings still exist today and similar mistakes could be made. Well, in response to this, the Met Assistant Commissioner Louisa Rolfe said the force is sincere in our desire to make real change, to minimise the chance of a case like this ever happening again. She added, "We know we fell short in this case and the families did not get the service they needed or deserved. It is important we look again at this area and see what more we need to do to support families through such difficult times. We will fully consider the recommendations made and ensure these are not just fully addressed but embedded into our working practices."